probably people here in the plains or other places don't understand the dynamics of Northeast. They are totally different. I mean, first of all, if we see the situation is very severe, very, it's a big, major security concern, and thanks to you, you are covering it, you are highlighting it. That's a very important thing. Because imagine the tribals. I'm from Naga regiment, right? In fact, I would say that this is a sphere I may proudly display. There's a lot of things in my house. They, they have a tremendous tribal loyalty. And hills are, as was brought out earlier, are secured. The land laws are totally different. They need to be protected against
Okay, I think.
encroachment.
Okay.
Same thing is with the complete Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, Tripura. That dynamics are totally different from the plain areas, and it has to be handled that way. Second thing is, which Sinaji was also bringing out, and other speakers also, I fully endorse. We need to give them a sense of security, which is missing. The governance has to be equal. Governance has to be, as a government, one has to treat everybody as one. I mean, with a similar rule. You cannot see one section of society is a different stepmotherly treatment. You can't give them stepmotherly treatment. Then they lose trust. Then they start looking left and right. Then, then it becomes a major security problem, long-term security problem.
But
At present,
General
the
Saab, I would like you to speak on the fact that what is happening in context of the army. ये शायद पहली बार हो रहा है कि army find itself in a very peculiar position where it gets questioned like this. You see, it gets questioned like this within the politics of Manipur. ये पहली बार हो रहा है.
Absolutely, because actually army has to do it. For us, the nation comes first. Or we
Yes,
don't want to get
absolutely, I
into the
agree with
local
you. Nation comes
politics
first.
local politics and all, and we got to handle it. And if these kinds of things happen, if 4,000, more than 4,500 weapons are still out, which have been looted, which have not been recovered, the more than, I mean, lakhs of ammunition, 6 lakhs plus ammunition is out, which is a dangerous situation for anybody. In fact, we need to actually, I feel it need to be handled with the iron hand. And if the local police is not supporting, they can be sidelined. Let them be sidelined. Let them be told to sit in the barracks, and let the CRPF, armed forces, Assam rifles handle the situation. Though it is a matter of national security, it is not a matter of state. It is a matter of security of each and everybody, whether it is a cookie or Mehtai. Both are same for me, as far as I am concerned. Both are same. Both are Indians. I mean, both दोनों भारतीय हैं. You cannot have stepmotherly treatment with somebody and then start making laws and rules and stop aids and to reach some people. That is not possible. That is not acceptable. We got to think long term. We got to think because it is a border state. There are dynamics where other people are waiting to jump into to support the estranged elements and create problem, long-term problem for India.
जनरल साहब, एक सवाल आपसे पूछूंगा, मतलब ये आप मतलब समझ जाएंगे, और मैं जिसे कह सकते हैं कि हिंदी में बोलूं, जो हमारे बंधन होते हैं कानून के, मैं उसके दायरे में सवाल पूछ रहा हूं. ये उसके दायरे में पूछ रहा हूं. तो फौज सामने आती है ना, लोगों के होश ठिकाने आ जाते हैं, डर लगता है. आपको लगता है कि बॉस, द लास्ट लाइन हैज कम इनटू ऑपरेशन. यहां ये जो फौज को चैलेंज किया जाता है हर जगह, ये क्यों हो रहा है? व्हाई इज दिस हैपनिंग? जब कहते हैं ना फौज बाहर आ जाती है तो एकदम 12 बज जाना चाहिए आपका, और तुरंत उनकी बात मानी जानी चाहिए. ये चैलेंज क्यों हो रहे हैं? फॉर मी एज अ सिविलियन दिस वरीज मी. जनरल साहब, don't worry, I'll wait for you. Professor, can you answer that?
Yes, I mean, what you have observed is certainly right. As I have been telling, that the positioning of the central government forces is to temporarily separate the two communities and to create a buffer zone so that there is no attack and counter-attack. Now, this position of the central forces is under challenge. They are under challenge on the pretext that somebody wants to buttress a certain kind of a claim of right. Somebody wants to get back a certain territory. Somebody wants to secure one's own territory. Now, all this is happening because the communities are in conflict and central forces are operating with extreme restraint. They are not breaking their restraint. Recently, Manipur suggested that Armed Forces Special Power Act be reintroduced in Manipur. Now you see, this is just a suggestion. This is to probably gear up the morale of the army and other central forces. But merely boosting up the morale will not do at this point of time. As Major General was pointing out, that there is a national security angle which is extremely sensitive and one needs to handle it.
Okay.
But probably in handling it, one cannot just romp over a community.
Okay.
One has to use certain mediating techniques which must also come from the army.
But Professor,
and the
when you're talking
security
about mediating techniques, there is another issue, Mr. Dongal. The Kuki community is not ready to talk to the Maiti community. That's another deadlock. I have interviewed so many people. When I say बातचीत होगी, so the answer is बातचीत नहीं होगी.
Yes, in the first place, the violence has to stop. The violence has to stop. Now, until today, it's almost 5 months now. I have not seen, any violence that comes from the other side, let's say from the valley, being stopped by the Meira Paibis. Or is there any misunderstanding between the Meira Paibis and the state police force? We have never witnessed that sort of incident ever within these 4 to 5 months. The only problem is again with the state forces or otherwise the Assam rifles, the Meira Paibis or the Assam rifles, or the mobs, or let's say the militants and the Assam rifles. And now any rational human being can observe and conclude saying that the fact that the paramilitary forces, the Assam rifles, are acting as a buffer zone, now the Kukis seem not to have any confrontation.
My question was not
antagonism.
my question was not on Assam rifle.
that's why I'm
that we have
saying we
discussed
need
ad
to
nauseam. Issue is that people are not willing to talk to each other. People are not willing to
Violence-
talk to each other.
All
Brijesh,
that
tell
I'm
me.
saying
Well, Kartikeya, see, the problem is that the situation is not that simple. That that you want a peace talk to go on between the two community. So the talk is on, simultaneously there is a war which is going on. There is firing, killing. There is a lot of arson which is taking place. There is a fractured movement, if I may say so, of central forces across the state. So there are layers within layers within layers. Ultimately people have to come to the table to talk. There's no denying the fact. But the reason why, Home Minister Amit Shah said, give me 15 days of peace and I will deliver what I have promised to you. The peace has to return, Kartikeya. And until unless peace return, you will not be in a position to offer any kind of powerful reason for them to come forward to the negotiating table to carry the conversations.
For the peace to return, the weapons also needs to come
Exactly,
back.
exactly.
That's the
And the
biggest
reason
problem.
why you were saying that, that for the first time you are seeing this situation where, the Indian army is kind of seen at the receiving end rather than forcing the perpetrators to be at the receiving end. Kartikeya, I think there is lack of clarity at the command structure. The reason why this is done is that wherever Indian army operates, it operates with the sole unified decision, and there's absolutely no ambiguity about it as to what they have to done and what is the target that is there for to be
General
achieved.
sir, a very pertinent point by my friend Brijesh.
Very pertinent, and that's why I'm saying it is very, very challenging for armed forces, because when I'm leading a column, when I'm leading a convoy, or I go out for some operation, if there are civilian population, the women population which is there, then if I don't have support of women police or civil police to tackle them, it's a very, very challenging, because if I am there, if I fire, then I fire for effect. I don't fire in the air. That's my order. I fire for effect. I will not fire to kill. I'll fire on the legs, but definitely I fire for effect. That is one point. So in this kind of situation, it becomes very, very challenging, because we consider each one of them as Indian. We don't consider them as foreigners or enemy of the nation. They are sort of misguided. And we are also concerned about the human rights angle. That's why it is a big challenge for armed forces when these kind of things happen, because they are making use of loopholes in the legal framework. They are making use of democracy. They are taking advantage of the human nature of the central armed forces. That's the issue which they have understood, or you can say they are exploiting it Because if women are there, I mean, if I'm there, I'll not kill. Frankly, I'll not kill. Why should I kill? There's unarmed women are
I think the bottom line is
standing
what
there.
these
I'll
visuals,
not kill.
General
I'll-
Saab, the bottom line is, if you look at these visuals, put them on air, it just tells us that more needs to be done, more requires to be done. If there is a sense of order in the city where people can do peaceful protest and they can go to lawmakers' office, that sort of order has not been restored outside the city. So, there is an order in the city, but outside it's very, very clear. And the second thing which we will discuss in the coming week is that people want to go back to the villages, and that was something which I witnessed in those videos when people were trying to go back and claim their houses. And the third aspect is the sit-ins which are happening in the Imphal Valley, which is an important development and needs to be taken cognizance of very, very seriously of the sit-ins that are happening. But till then, I would say that this development whereby people want to go back to the villages and the army has to stop them, it needs to stop, because there is no point having these contacts in the highways, because it just puts everything in a very poor light.